Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a truly fantastic resource. We are going to be breaking down Part 8 of the 10-part tutorial, MLOps Mastery, the complete production machine learning handbook. This was put together by Virtualization Options LLC, which is a Colorado-based tech research, education, and advisory group. Now, this specific chapter is an absolute goldmine if you're in IT management or if you're a platform engineer. If you've ever watched a brilliant machine learning model completely fall apart the second it hits the real world, well, you're in the right place. We're going to explore exactly how this tutorial bridges that massive operational gap. Here is what we're covering on today's agenda. First, the 87% deployment gap. Second, why DevOps fails ML. Third, the MLOps component chain. Fourth, deployment and model serving. Fifth, governance and silent failures. And we'll wrap up with the MLOps implementation roadmap. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the 87% deployment gap. 87%. Just let that number sink in for a second. The core problem we're facing as IT leaders is literally massive. 87% of machine learning models never actually reach production. They just die on the vine. And you know what's really fascinating? They aren't dying because of algorithmic shortcomings or bad math. No, they're dying due to operational failures. We're talking about things like data drift, reproducibility failures, and those incredibly fragile manual handoffs between data scientists and engineering teams. That operational gap kills your deployment velocity before a single prediction is ever served to a customer. Moving right along to Section 2, why DevOps fails ML. We have to make a complete paradigm shift here. As IT professionals, we absolutely love traditional DevOps, right? Because traditional software code is deterministic. You input A and you always get B. It's safe. But machine learning models, they are probabilistic. The exact same code fed with different data yields a completely different model and a totally different result. So versioning in ML doesn't just mean versioning your code. You have to simultaneously version the data, the hyperparameters, the whole shebang. Standard DevOps pipelines were just never designed to handle that level of multidimensional complexity. Now, if you need to justify the investment in MLOps to your board, here is your ammunition. The business case is undeniable. You're looking at 60 to 70% faster deployment times right out of the gate. When things go wrong, and they will, incident response times are cut right in half. But the real game changer is that massive spike in model reuse, up 500% across the organization. Instead of building bespoke models from scratch every single time, your teams can just leverage shared feature stores and registries. It's a massive multiplier for your engineering ROI. Okay, let's get into the weeds a bit with Section 3, the MLOps component chain. A production-grade ML pipeline flows through 5 linear stages: data ingestion, validation, feature engineering, training, and evaluation. And the golden rule here? Every single stage absolutely must be independently testable and rerunnable. If your data validation fails because, say, a schema changed upstream, the pipeline has to halt immediately. It has to fail fast so you don't end up corrupting downstream artifacts. You definitely do not want bad data sneaking its way into feature engineering and completely poisoning an incredibly expensive model training run. When you're evaluating orchestration engines to run all these pipelines, you're going to face that classic build versus buy decision. On the build side, you've got open source platforms like Kubeflow. It offers incredible multi-cloud portability and Kubernetes native flexibility. But honestly, it requires serious engineering muscle to maintain. On the buy side, you've got fully managed platforms like SageMaker for AWS, Azure ML, or Vertex AI for Google Cloud. These managed platforms give you amazing speed to value, but as you'd expect, they do lock you into their specific ecosystems. All right, Section 4, deployment and model serving. Continuous deployment for ML relies heavily on advanced gating strategies. You can't just toss a model over the wall and hope for the best. You might use a canary deployment, routing just 5 to 10% of live traffic to the new model to test the waters. But the most fascinating strategy here is shadow mode. The new model runs in parallel with the live system, logging predictions, but not actually serving them to real users. It's literal zero-risk validation. And regardless of the strategy you end up going with, you have to mandate a strict rollback SLA of under 5 minutes. If a model goes rogue, your IT team needs a one-command parachute, no questions asked. To maintain efficiency when serving these models, we have to talk about model optimization. Techniques like INT8 quantization are absolutely essential. This reduces the physical size of your model by a factor of 4 and cuts latency by up to 3 times.
It gives you incredibly cost-efficient, high-throughput endpoints. On top of that, making smart infrastructure choices, like utilizing spot or preemptible instances for your batch inference jobs, can literally slash your compute costs by 60 to 80%. Seriously, pull that off and your CFO might just buy you lunch. Let's shift gears to Section 5, Governance and Silent Failures. Unlike a traditional software bug that triggers a loud crash and sets off all your PagerDuty alerts, ML models suffer from what we call silent failures. The code hasn't broken, but the world around it has. We call this drift. There's data drift, where your input features change. There's concept drift, where the actual relationship between the data and the target changes. Think about how consumer behavior can shift overnight. There's also label drift and schema drift. Because this degradation is completely gradual and totally invisible, you're only going to discover these failures when your business KPIs randomly tank, unless, of course, you have a purpose-built monitoring stack actively watching for these exact shifts. Now, having this level of observability isn't just an IT best practice anymore. It is a massive regulatory liability. The upcoming EU AI Act, which takes effect in 2026, requires mandatory conformity assessments and incident reporting for high-risk AI systems. And the non-compliance penalties are no joke, up to 30 million euros, or 6% of your global revenue. If your models are silently failing and making incorrect decisions in the background, the financial and legal consequences for your company could be absolutely catastrophic. So, how do you protect the organization and keep those regulators happy? Every single production model must be accompanied by a model card. Think of the model card as your definitive system of record. It lives in your model registry and serves as your unalterable audit trail. It explicitly details the model's intended use, the exact provenance of the training data, the subgroup evaluation results, and, crucially, its known limitations. If a regulator ever knocks on your door, that model card is exactly what you hand them. Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, the MLOps Implementation Roadmap. Let's look at how you actually build this out over time. This phased roadmap is how you systematically evolve your IT infrastructure. In Phase 1, the first 6 months, your only goal is just to eliminate manual handoffs, automate your training jobs, and get that central model registry established. In Phase 2, stretching up to 18 months, you're deploying full CI/CD for ML and getting your feature stores up and running. And finally, by year 3 in Phase 3, you achieve the holy grail, a fully governed, self-service ML platform where multiple teams are actively reusing models and it requires less than 2 full-time engineers for operational overhead. But the tutorial leaves us with a really stark warning. Toolchain proliferation is the #1 cause of MLOps technical debt. If you let every single data science pod pick their own favorite tools, you are going to drown in maintenance. You have to firmly choose your lane. Are you building for open source portability, or are you buying a managed platform for speed to value? You need to pick one orchestrator, pick one serving framework, and rigorously enforce that standard across the entire enterprise. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today, from the inherently probabilistic nature of ML to avoiding multi-million-dollar regulatory fines through really strict governance. This chapter of the MLOps Mastery tutorial leaves us with one final critical question to ask ourselves. Your models are learning, but is your infrastructure keeping up, or are you just collecting technical debt? I challenge you to take a hard look at your deployment pipelines this week. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep building smartly.